Hello, I'm Karen, and Happy New Year to everybody. I cannot believe we're already halfway through the first month of 2026. So, I was thinking about the future potentially and Valentine's Day. So, I've crocheted this scarf, which I'm calling the Love Heart scarf. Okay, so what I'm going to do today is I'm going to share with you how to do the stitch, how to do the changeover of the colour, and to make these lovely little heart tassels at the end. Okay, so you can do this obviously in any yarn you want with any hook. And just to help you, so you can actually have a guide. So if you wanted to do this square, the square is 9 blocks by 9 blocks, and you've got 1, 3, 5, 7, 7, 2 lots of 3 and 2 lots of 1 at the top. Just Google a pixel heart or a grid heart and you'll find anything that you want, really. So oh yeah, and a fun fact, today is the 17th of January, and by the 30th of January 2026 there will be 41 minutes of extra daylight. There you go, so that's the fun fact of the day. I'm using my vintage 4mm crochet hook, and today I'm using this is the new shade of pink from Aldi, the latest one that they brought out this week. Well, put up for sale this week anyway. Okay, so obviously got the tail end. I'm going to begin with a twist on my hook, and we're going to do a chain of 3, and we're going to work a double crochet if you're in the US, or a treble crochet as our main stitch. So we're just going to do another chain of 3, and this time round we're going to work the stitch straight into the hole that we made. This nice little, these little chains there. It says 1, 2, 3. For this sample I'm just going to do 5. Like I said, if you want to do the actual scarf, you can do it in a block of 9, but you can do it any size you want. You can use it for blankets, and I've also come up with a variation of it. I did a pattern a while ago with it, and somebody asked me if I could make another item, and I was like, okay, and so I have. So I've got some nice things moving forward. So I've just done a chain 1. I'm going to do 2, 3. And we're going to work back into this one almost like we was doing the loops, but we're just going to continue and then work a second of these stitches into that space there, and then we're going to work 3 in each of the remaining holes that we've made for ourselves. So yes, so this is the pattern for, yes, I've got, what did I say, I've got hats that are coming and some bag patterns that I've made. So they're all, what do we call it? Whips, work in progress. So I've just got tail ends and things to do and bits to sew together. So my goals this year are as the same as last year, which is to make at least 1 video per month, because that seems to be able to be fitted in with my daytime job. So and if I manage to change anything there, obviously I'd do some more. But for now, so that's the end of technically row 1. So it'll look something like that. So this does have a front and a back. So what we're going to do is now we're just going to work our way back. So we're going to just do a chain of 3, turn, and then we're going to slip stitch in between the groups of 3 that we made. Yeah, so that's 1, and that's 2. Yeah, so when I wrote one of my patterns, somebody questioned me about where I worked into a stitch, and I thought, do you know what, we can make that a bit easier. So I made some changes. But at the moment, so what we're going to do with this one, you've got your little chain at the end, so you're just going to just purely slip stitch into there. We want to keep our life nice and easy. So our next row is just going to be a chain of 3, and then you're just going to work the 2 stitches in the end to make a group of 3 stitches, and then continue working the groups of 3 as you actually go along. So what I'm going to do though now is I'm going to show you how. So if we want to change colour here, you do 2.5 stitches. Wait 1 minute. Okay. Okay, so I've got 2.5 stitches there. So you're going to get your new colour. As you can gather, I paused the video because I forgot to get this colour. So then all you're going to do is finish off this stitch with your new colour, just to help your stitches go nice. And then you're going to work 2. So if you was going to do the bottom of the heart, you do 2 stitches completely, and then you're going to do half of a stitch. I'm just going to cut off both of my tail ends a minute because I need, whoop, where are you? There we go. And then I want to get the pink back, move that out of the way, and then we're going to finish off that stitch there, and then you'd work into the next 2 places at the end just to make sure you finished off this row. And then what you do is you just do the chain 3 going back. So each time you're going to change over your colours of your yarn, you're going to end up with 4 tails at the back of sewing in. So if you are going to do something like the heart, there is 40 tail ends, and I worked it out, it takes you about 20 minutes to sew all the tail ends in for that. So if you want to be dedicated to that project, that's obviously up to you. I'm just going to come back, because every time you've done whatever you're doing with this, the final row to end on is always going to be the chains of 3 and the slip stitches in between the posts that you've done for the granny stitches. So I'm just going to get to the end, and so once you've done, so with the scarf, I'm just going to cut this off a minute and just show you something. Okay, so you've piece, so as you go along, so you can see already, even though this is a small piece, this side is going to be slightly smaller than this side. It just pulls that way just because of the way that you're working into the end. It is something you can just tweak and just pull around, but we're going to put an edge around it to neaten it up anyway. I wanted to show you, so when you're making them, so this obviously I'm not sewing the tail ends in, and it's deliberate. So this one has got the 4 tail ends in because I've put the edging around it, and this one has got 8 tail ends because I just did 1 changeover of a block, and I've put the edging on it. And the way that I made my scarf, I did it in 2 pieces, so you actually end up joining them together, so that when the hearts form at the end, they're both the right way up. So because if you see, look, they're both the right way up. So if you kept on going as a one long continuous motion and went round, one of your hearts would end up upside down if you tried to do it, or you'd have to create the heart upside down. And that was a bit of it's one of those ones I was like, no, we're trying to make everything easy. Oh, sorry, I've moved my camera. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, so this one I'm just going to show you how to add the edging on, which is really easy. So you're going to loop your yarn through one of your chain 3 ends, and it doesn't matter wherever you start, and then you're going to work 1. It's a single crochet if you're in the US, and it's a double crochet if you're in the UK, just for the edging. So you're going to work 1 over the post there, and then 1 in between the gap that you made, you know, this is that one there, and then 1 over the post and 1 in the gap. And you're going to do that all the way to the end, and then I'll show you at the very end. Oops. So that's going to be the final stitch that completes that side, but then we want to work along the edge, so we're going to just do 2 more in the corner. So the corners always end up with 3 stitches in them, and then these chain 2s, you're just going to work 2 stitches over each one like that. And so as you go around, you'll see it has got a slight curve, but then you're going to tweak it, so don't worry about that. And you're going to do that all the way right round, and you finish by slip stitching into that beginning single crochet that you did. So that's that bit. I'm just going to undo this because I want to, actually no, I'll use some grey yarn for this bit. So the next bit I want to do the heart tassels on the end. So I'm just going to use this scarf as a background, because my heart, I'm going to make it in grey. So for this, you can begin with a chain of 3, or you can begin with the magic circle and go under, over, around and then do a chain of 2. But if you've done a chain of 3, your first chain is the chain that you're going to work in. Okay, and so, and for the heart it is, so we've done a chain of 2, and we want to do 2 of the treble crochet if you're in the UK, or double crochet if you're in the US. Then we want to do 2 half double crochet or half treble. Then we want to do a chain of 2, and then we're going to do the pattern in reverse, which is then going to be 2 half trebles or half doubles, 2 doubles or trebles, and a chain of 2, and we're going to then slip stitch into the beginning. Now we're going to make the chain, and so I'm going to be quick as I can about this one because I want to show you just a little tip. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Now keep your chain flat between your finger and your thumb, because you don't want because your heart will twist around, and you don't want your chain to be twisted for this next bit. And then you're going to slip stitch into the beginning and then pull your tail end through, and then that tail end you want to pull through to the back, and the beginning tail end you're going to pull nice and tight, so you've got your little heart like on a chain, so it's like a little charm. And just going to just quickly sew the tail ends in. Yeah, so what I say, there's plenty of tail ends if you're going to do the heart, if you're going to do some other patterns. So this is not for the faint-hearted if you want to do all of the hearts and all of the little things. If you don't like sewing, you're just going to have to keep it plain, I'm afraid, for this one. But there we go. So the heart ends up looking like that. And then the way to attach them, so let's get one that I've already completed. I'll use this one, so that's that way around. I know I haven't sewed the tail ends. Actually, probably be easier to use this one. There's less tail ends. So you're going to use the ends where you actually did you've worked over, so you did those beginning chains, and we'll go through the middle one. So you want your heart, so you've got a front of it and you've got a back of it. You want your heart with the front upwards. You want to put the loop through the end that you want to go in. Pull that up, pull that over and tuck your heart through, and then gently pull it. And I did every other one because if you do them the same size in chain length, they crossed over, and I didn't want them to cross over like that. So there you go. That is a quick tutorial on how to do this stitch. And just so that you know, my bag is a variation of this, so look out for that one. And thank you for watching, and Happy New Year to everybody. And if by any chance when you come across this video it happens to be your birthday, happy birthday. Bye for now.